Let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to be perfectly disciplined? You know the drill. Wake up early, follow a strict routine, cut out all the distractions, be in total control. And maybe you succeeded, for a while. But then, did you ever feel a strange emptiness? Like in trying to control everything, you accidentally put out your own spark. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you. Today, I'm not going to give you another 10-step plan. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story, an old story, about a samurai master and a rebellious boy. It's a story that changed how I think about discipline, freedom, and what it means to truly master yourself. So get comfortable. Let's begin. Our story starts in old Japan, in a quiet dojo, a training hall in the mountains. This was the school of the still mind. The master here was a famous samurai named Kensai. His name meant sword saint. For 30 years, he taught one thing above all else: discipline. He taught that a man is like a rough stone, and discipline is the chisel. You must use it to chip away everything wild, everything messy, every impulse and distraction. You chip and you chip until all that's left is a perfect, calm statue, a masterpiece of self-control. And Kensai was that masterpiece. His life was perfect routine. He woke at dawn, he did 1,000 practice sword cuts. Every movement was precise. He drank his tea with total focus. His mind was like still water, no ripples of anger or desire or chaos. But here was the problem. As Kensai sat in his silent, perfect dojo, he felt nothing, just a huge, hollow emptiness. He had spent his life building a fortress of discipline to keep the chaos out, and he had succeeded. But now, inside the fortress, it was dead quiet. He had carved away so much of himself that he wasn't sure who was left. He was a perfect statue, and he was utterly alone. Just as Kensai was drowning in this quiet doubt, a visitor came, a wealthy lord with his son. The boy's name was Hayato. He was 16, and he was pure chaos. He had been kicked out of 3 schools for fighting, for arguing, for pure rebellion. He was the uncarved stone, but he was also a wild storm. The Lord bowed to Kensai. "Master," he said, "you are my last hope. Please, take my son. Use your discipline. Carve him into shape. Make him a proper samurai before his own wildness destroys him." Kensai looked at the furious boy. He saw the storm in his eyes. And in that moment, Kensai saw the opposite of himself. He saw everything he had spent his life fighting. A strange, desperate idea came to him. "I will take him," Kensai said, "but not here. We will go to my old hermitage, high on the mountain. There will be no other students. You will not see him for 1 year." The Lord agreed, and so the perfect master and the wild rebel went up the mountain together. The hermitage was nothing like the perfect dojo. It was small, rough, and cold. The wind howled constantly. On the first morning, Kensai didn't give Hayato a sword. He gave him an axe. "Cut wood, Hayato. The pile must reach the roof, and stack it neatly. This is your first lesson." Hayato took the axe, and he attacked that wood. He wasn't cutting it, he was fighting it. You could hear the anger in every chop. Bang, crash, the wood splintered. The pile was a jagged, dangerous mess. For days, this went on. Kensai just sat and meditated, listening to the sound of rage. One night, by a small fire, Kensai spoke. "Why do you fight the wood, Hayato?" "I'm not fighting the wood," Hayato snapped. "I'm fighting everything. Your stupid rules, my father's orders, this whole boring, controlled world. It's all a cage." Kensai was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "And your rebellion, your anger, is that not also a cage? You are just as trapped by your impulses as I am by my routines. You are a slave to your own storm." Hayato had no answer. He just stared into the fire. The next day, Kensai took Hayato to a mountain stream. The water was icy and fast. "Stand there," Kensai said, pointing to the middle of the current. "In the center, do not be moved." Hayato waded in. Immediately, the current pushed him. He fought back. He tensed his muscles, he braced his legs. He used pure force against the water. And for an hour, he lost. He was knocked down, soaked, freezing. Finally, he crawled to the bank, defeated. "It's impossible," he gasped. "Is it?" said Kensei. Kensei steps calmly into the stream. He doesn't brace. He lets his knees bend softly. He sways slightly with the current, like a reed. The water flows around him, but his core is steady. He is unmoved. Kainok walked into the same spot, but he didn't fight. He didn't use force. He relaxed. He let the water push him, and he moved with it just a little. He yielded, but he didn't lose his balance. He was flexible, but strong at his center. Hayato watched, and for the first time, his anger turned into curiosity. Kainok stepped out. "You were fighting the water. That is rigidity. It will always break. I was flowing with the water. That is resilience. That is true strength. Discipline is not being a rigid rock. It is being the bamboo, strong at the root, but able to bend in the storm without breaking." Something changed in Hayato that day. He didn't become obedient, he became observant. He went back to the woodpile, he took it all apart, and slowly, carefully, he began stacking it again. Not with rage, but with focus, log by log, until it was a neat, tall, perfect stack. Kainok taught him the tea ceremony. But here, with a chipped bowl, it wasn't about social rules. It was about the focus needed to pour hot water without spilling a drop. It was discipline for its own sake, not for show. Kainok began teaching him sword forms, but first, he made Hayato watch the bamboo grove for an entire afternoon. "See how it moves," he said. Hayato saw. The bamboo didn't resist the wind, it bent, and when the wind stopped, it stood straight again, unbroken. The lesson was sinking in. Discipline wasn't about killing the storm inside you, it was about learning to bend with it so you wouldn't snap. Weeks turned to months. Hayato was changing, but so was Kainok. Watching this wild boy learn true flexibility made him see the brittleness of his own perfect life. One afternoon, after Hayato finished practicing, Kainok spoke, and his voice was heavy with sadness. "You have learned the lesson, Hayato, perhaps better than your teacher ever did." Hayato turned, confused. "Sensei?" "In creating a perfect, silent garden, I was wrong. I didn't just pull out the weeds, I pulled out the flowers too. My discipline, it has become a cage, a tomb for my own spirit." Hayato was silent. The rebellious boy was gone. Now he was a young man, seeing his teacher not as a god, but as a human. "Then, what is the point?" he asked, not with defiance, but with real need. Kainok looked at his old, lined hands. "I do not know," he said softly. "Perhaps the point is not to carve the stone into a perfect statue. Perhaps it is to learn to hold the chisel so that the life already inside the stone can finally emerge." The real world crashed in with an autumn storm. A messenger brought news. Hayato's father was dead, betrayed. Hayato's family name, his home, everything was in danger. The chaos he was born into had found him. Hayato received the news in total silence. The old fire came back to his eyes, but it was different now. It wasn't a wildfire, it was a forge fire, controlled, intense, and powerful. He turned to Kainok. "I must go." "I know," Kainok said. "Will you give me the final secret technique of the Still Mind School?" Hayato asked. Kainok shook his head. "There is no secret technique. There is only the mind you have forged. The discipline you have built is not a wall around you. It is the riverbank. It gives the water, your spirit, your energy, a direction, a powerful force. But the water's nature, to flow and to be alive, that is yours. Never let that die." At the door of the hermitage, Hayato bowed, a deep, respectful bow that came from him, not from any rule. "Thank you, Sensei, for not trying to carve me." Kainok bowed back. "Thank you, Hayato, for showing me that the block and the statue are the same thing." Hayato went down the mountain. He did not go as the wild storm. He did not go as a perfect, emotionless samurai robot. He went as Hayato of the two currents, a man who had learned to hold the still mind and the passionate heart together. He reclaimed his home. They say he fought with a style no one had seen before. fierce like the wind, but rooted like the mountain. He was disciplined, but fully alive. And Kensei? He stayed on the mountain. He still practiced his cuts at dawn, but sometimes he would stop and just feel the sun, the undisciplined, warm, chaotic sun on his face. He had gone up the mountain to impose order on chaos. Instead, chaos had taught him what order was really for. Not to kill life, but to give it a form where it could be strong, beautiful, and free. So, what's the takeaway from this long story? We often think of discipline as a hammer, something we use to beat ourselves into shape, to crush bad habits, to force ourselves to be better. But the story of Kensei and Hayato suggests something else. It suggests discipline is more like a riverbank. A river without banks is a flood. It's chaotic, destructive, and it spreads until it's shallow and powerless. But the banks, the discipline, don't fight the river. They don't hate the water. They guide it. They give it direction, focus, and incredible power. The banks and the river work together. Your passions, your energy, your so-called chaos, that's the river. Your discipline, your routines, your habits, your focus, that's the banks. Don't spend your life trying to stop the river. You'll end up in a dry, empty bed. And don't let the river flood everything. You'll burn out. Build the banks. Guide the flow. Let your discipline be the thing that turns your raw energy into real power. If this idea resonated with you, then I have two asks. First, hit the like button. It really helps this channel grow. Second, and most important, think about one area of your life where you've been using the hammer, where you've been fighting yourself. Maybe it's your diet, your workout schedule, your work routine. What would it look like to build a riverbank instead? To create a structure that guides your energy rather than trying to kill it? Leave a comment below and tell me. I read every single one. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We make videos every week about philosophy, stories, and practical wisdom to help you live a better, more thoughtful life. Thank you so much for watching and for spending this time on a story. Until next time, take care.